Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. So let's talk about episode 18 titled Find Me. We got a table read scene. It plays like a trailer. It's not just like one scene. It's like two or three scenes and they're all kind of cut up together. It's so weird getting these type of teasers. Like they're releasing these teaser trailer things of they're separate scenes. Like it almost would play like a trailer, but it's just a table read of the scenes. I do think we're going to get the actual teasers this month. Like later on this month, they are going to reveal some stuff. It's just a kind of a matter of when. I think a few episodes are probably done already, right? Like episode 17 and 18, I think those ones are probably done. I don't know if they started filming yet, but I know they stopped around Thanksgiving and then they were supposed to go back to resuming filming at some point this month, like right after the new year. So that it's possible maybe they even start tomorrow or they already did start. After this, they're going to film straight until probably like March or something like that. They might take like 3 weeks to a month off and then they go straight into the final season. And they film that really until the end of the year, right? Until November or around Thanksgiving this year. So this year is going to be very exciting for Walking Dead fans because they're going to be filming all year. There will be a lot of stuff coming out a lot because there's just like last year we had to wait for everything. This year is just everything's going to be released now, right? So expect anytime in the next 3 weeks to get like actual official footage of any of these episodes. Probably episode 17 will be the first one. But let's talk about this table read here. So before we go any further, I do have to warn you for spoilers for this episode because it does kind of go into some stuff here. I want to take the synopsis and just try to bring some context to what is happening here in these scenes. And if you are new here, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like that. The show is returning in 49 days, I believe, because it's Sunday tonight, which is 7 weeks until The Walking Dead returns on February 28th. I'm really excited for the show to come back. I really cannot wait. Like, we got that one episode on October 4th last year. Besides that, we had to wait since, when was that? That was like March, April, right? Like April 5th, I think was the last episode before that. So it's been a very long time. Like it's been almost on February 28th when we watched that episode, it'll have been like almost a year, like 11 months. Within those 11 months, we've watched one episode. Like it's sad. One other thing I do want to mention is that AMC Plus, I just saw, is going to have like all of their behind the scenes stuff exclusively. So for people who like to watch all the behind the scenes footage for the episodes and stuff like that, it's going to be on AMC Plus, just exclusively on there. I know they usually post it on YouTube, but I don't know if they're going to now. So I don't know if that's changed. I don't really know what they mean with that, but I just saw that. So, but let's get into the synopsis here. I do want you guys to like keep the synopsis in mind as we go through the scene. We'll go through this and then we'll go through all the scenes. An adventure for Daryl and Carol turns sideways when they come across an old cabin. It takes Daryl back to the years when he left the group after Rick disappeared, as he relives a time that only the apocalypse could manifest. So this episode is going to take Daryl back. It's going to be a flashback episode to Daryl trying to find Rick, I assume, and it's like the synopsis said, it takes him back to when he was living out there and he was trying to find Rick. It was impossible. He couldn't find the body. It was something he lived with forever. And yeah, he's going to open up about that experience. So for all of us that have been wanting him to talk about Rick a lot more, this is going to be that episode that's going to do that, which is obviously, I can't wait for that. The teaser trailer scene opens up with Daryl and Carol. They have this trip out into the woods and they go and hunt animals. The actual dialogue here in this scene is hilarious as hell. It's the type of comedy that I guess would come out of those two characters because Daryl doesn't really tell jokes. He just kind of, it's that arguing type of humor, right? But Daryl and Carol, they go out into the woods. They're going to go hunt animals and then they get into that whole conversation. And just the way it's read out, I can already picture the scene in my head. Carol's like, she's worried that they've lost everything because they've lost the hilltop. They fought to keep it. But in Carol's eyes, the hilltop's gone, right? Like Maggie has returned and Maggie's probably planning to rebuild it. But to her, they've lost the hilltop. Like she says, like they've lost it. We stood for it, but it's gone. And now Alexandria's gone. And then Daryl's just like, no, we didn't lose Alexandria. And then she just says she's worried they've lost everything. Like everything they've built over the last 6 years or however long it's been has now been lost to the Whisperers, that there's nothing good left here. Anything good is not in Alexandria. And I could see what she means by that because there was something about the fair and about what Alexandria stood for when that time jump happened that it was just so unbelievable that it was too happy, right? Like you got to remember what the state of Alexandria and the hilltop was like before the Whisperers came in. Remember, it was that 6-year time jump. Yeah, everyone was depressed about Rick. Michonne was going through some stuff. There was some tension, but overall, it was 6 years of peace for the most part, right? People were going to school, people were getting jobs, and like they built these roads or safe roads anyways to each other's communities. overall, it was peaceful, especially for Carol. She had a son in Henry, right, for the last however many years. The kingdom was thriving, and now she lost that too. And it is pretty crazy to think of how much the Whisperers did destroy them, because it doesn't really feel like the Whisperers did anything, but they kind of did. Yes, they could rebuild Alexandria, or Alexandria doesn't need to be rebuilt, but they could just like start all over and like rebuild and stuff. But I guess the one thing is the idea of what Alexandria should stand for. That is what can't be ruined. And I think the Whisperers did actually ruin it. And I think that's going to take a lot of, inner soul searching and stuff like that to bring those ideas back to the community, to bring that hope and happiness and stuff. And so I think that's what Carol's getting at here. She's worried they've lost everything good, that anything good, we have to go somewhere else now. Like, this is just all a lost cause. And Daryl doesn't really believe in it. And I do think this is also set up for the spin-off show, because that's what's happening after the show's over, right? Daryl and Carol are going to go out there. They're leaving Alexandria, probably to go and find Rick. That's going to be the premise. But I think a lot of this is also going to play into how Carol's feeling, because she has lost everything. We are going into the Commonwealth arc right away. There will be nothing for Carol left here, I think. I think that's how she's going to feel. She's going to leave. And then I think Daryl won't feel that way exactly, but because they both want to find Rick, he'll just tag along, sort of thing, right? But Daryl does say that we have to start over and rebuild, and Carol says, yeah, until it happens again, which is obviously, yeah, that's a good point, because it's probably going to happen again. And then there's a scene later on after where Daryl finds a woman named Leah in the cabin, played by Lynn Collins, who she's been in a lot of stuff. And this here, if you go back to the synopsis where it says that Daryl and Carol turn sideways when they come across an old cabin, it takes Daryl back to the years when he left the group after Rick disappeared, as he relives a time that only the apocalypse can manifest. So this is how that starts. Daryl goes there, he meets this woman named Leah, played by Lynn Collins, and then it's going to trigger all this stuff to the time when Rick was gone and he was searching for him, and just what Daryl was going through then. So I'm interested in how that's going to come up, and how Daryl's, what are we going to get exactly? Like, I know that a lot of the times I want very specific things said, but the show never does it exactly how I'm thinking, probably because the way I'm thinking it would be a little cringy, but I do want some things said sometimes, like I would like Daryl to just say, like, I never found a body. Like, I still think Rick is alive. Just to say that, but Daryl wouldn't say that. He'll just be like, never found a body. And then he'll like grunt after, and then the scene will end, and there'll just be this long pause or something like that. Like, we almost have to try read the character, like just, like focus on that scene and then be like, okay, Daryl still thinks Rick is out there, but maybe he's not, this and that. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what to expect from the scene or the episode. Like, I want there to be some actual Rick Grimes mentions, like mention him by name, and just the situation surrounding what happened to him, right? Daryl trying to put pieces together. Like, if they're actually going to be doing a flashback scene, maybe we see Daryl out there trying to search for him, like having all these plans, and like standing on the bridge where it burnt down, and looking at where he could have went, looking for clothes or looking for anything. Maybe he finds blood, and it trails to a certain location. Maybe he finds the gun, or he finds something there, right? He sees the shoreline where Rick was washed up, and he says, like, okay, Rick was here, but he's not here anymore. So what happened to him? Maybe he just turned to a walker and walked away. And then just what happens with him after. Like, I don't know how much they're going to give us of that, if anything at all. It might just be Daryl reminiscing about surviving out there, and just, coming to the reality that he lost his friend. And I don't know how that plays a role in the present timeline, because like they're doing a flashback for a reason, right? This woman Lynn, that's Lynn Collins, but she's playing a character named Leah. This character is bringing this out of Daryl, right? She's bringing something up that Daryl's still pretty emotional about, and then it has to have some purpose in the ending of the episode. Does Leah come back with Daryl to Alexandria, or does she just stay here? Does she, you know what I mean? Maybe she's a former Whisperer or something like that. Maybe that's why she's hiding out there. I have no idea, but I want to hear what you guys have to say down below. What are you expecting from this episode? This episode is definitely going to be a very emotional one, especially for the whole Daryl and Rick bond, which was holding up the show for a very long time. Like, that was one of the main things about the show when we had both characters on the show. Now with Rick gone, it's sad to think about, but it's also something we still really love. That, like, weirdly, that is still holding up the show, just in a different context. Anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.